For my service learning, I partnered with the Watershed Committee of the Ozarks at Valley Watermill Park. It is also called the Watershed Center. Watershed Committee is a not-for-profit, whose mission is to sustain and improve the water resources of Springfield and Greene County through education and effective management of the region's watersheds. The relationship between my research and service learning experience is that both relate to invasive species and ecosystems. My service learning experience caused me to formulate the question for my research paper: what is the impact of climate change on biodiversity in the Midwest? My direct service learning consisted of removing an invasive plant called winter creeper. By analyzing evidence, I found it's an evergreen and an ornamental plant. Animals cause its seeds to be distributed quickly. The new seeds grow rapidly and take over the ground, directly affecting the other species by creating competition for resources. Winter creeper came to the U.S. from China in 1907. Winter creeper is found all over Valley Watermill and continues to grow. Watershed Committee of the Ozarks relies on its employees and volunteers to decelerate its speed. From my volunteering and exploring the trails, I have inferred that the current efforts are helping, yet they are not enough to completely stop winter creeper from taking over the area in the future. I also found winter creeper crawling up trees in my backyard. I researched the invasive mimosa tree for my indirect service learning. Like winter creeper, this tree is an ornamental plant that's also sold in stores. The cause of mimosa tree's rapid spreading is due to its small seeds that are picked up by wind and animals. The effect is its overpopulation across the U.S. The tree prefers warm climates, especially the South. It came to the U.S. in 1785 and is native to East and Middle Asia. I interviewed 2 people about invasive species and compared and contrasted their responses. First, I interviewed Clarissa Hatley, an education outreach specialist at the Watershed.
I think what we would determine as our most prominent one would be winter creeper or creeping euonymus. A number of different strategies. So we are mostly trying to manually remove the winter creeper. So that includes volunteer. So whether it be volunteers from like Missouri State or even just like a school group. We kind of stump spray, so some of the vines that are bigger, we actually would use herbicide. So things you can do, don't buy it and plant it in your garden because it's really easy to spread. At the city we have a list of native alternatives that do a similar thing, so buy native alternatives.
I also interviewed Missouri State's Assistant Professor, Will McLean, who specializes in Environmental Plant Science and Natural Resources Department.
Invasive on a cattle farm might not go anywhere because it's only in the fence lines, or the cattle actually, or if you've got goats, maybe the goats keep it grazed down. So whereas from a row crop standpoint, if I'm putting corn in the ground and I have an invasive plant come in, it's going to affect my yield. But in a cattle operation, it's less likely, unless it's poisonous to the livestock, to be a serious problem. I am not against chemical use of herbicides, especially if it's done properly. So a lot of times with invasive species, depends on the species you're talking about, but the easiest way to get a good control on it quickly would be a herbicide of some kind, right? So if you
I went to Lowe's in Ozark and found a few invasive and non-native plants in the garden section. The store had a variety of bushes, trees, and seeds. The plants had no label stating if it was invasive or non-native, but it did provide directions on how to plant and maintain it. Tall fescue seeds were displayed inside and outside the store. This grass is found almost everywhere in Missouri, especially in the countryside. Fescue causes competition for resources with native plants and is practically impossible to remove, with the prices ranging from $24 to $77.